Hello, let's see if this works. I have been having a bunch of issues with the internet. I don't even know. It's like use Chrome. I'm on Chrome. Anyway, hi, I'm Rachel. I don't know what this is. It's my audio version of my blog since I'm not doing podcasts really much. So it's sort of a podcast, sort of a blog, yada yada. It's just me reflecting on things that have happened lately in my life, good and bad. Mostly trying to keep it positive. So anyway, so I wrote a blog, basically, I do hair. And some of my clients are like, oh, I didn't get to read your blog. I'm not good at like getting my stuff out there. I've got 2 books. Not many people know about that. I wrote 2 books. They're here. I don't know how to advertise. That's my problem. So here I am, not advertising, talking to myself basically. So I wrote a blog about the adventures of last weekend when my youngest son got engaged. There they are. Aren't they adorable? The cutest. See the water in the background, this beautiful dock. So that property is where we were going to stay originally. And so the weekend came. We're all excited. We all leave to go. We're on the highway. We're like 2 or 3 hours in. And we get a message from the freaking host saying, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. There was a water main break. We can't find the source. It's gushing water all over the place. We are trying to stop it. We have to turn off the water. That's why you can't stay. Because it's not even in the house. It's on the property. They have acres and acres of property. They've got like race horses and a barn in the back and like beautiful property. So we're like, okay, the whole reason we're coming up there is because of your historic mansion. I'm going to read the blog because the recording I've already done about this, I went off on a tangent. Not a bad tangent, sometimes I get ADD of the subject I'm trying to talk about. So I'm going to read it because maybe it'll keep me on track. So I wrote, my son got engaged this past weekend. That sentence sounds simple, but the weekend leading up to it was anything but. Oh, sorry. I'm making noise with my microphone. Maybe I should hold it. I'll hold it like this. So months ago, we planned a dual family getaway to Kentucky with my son, Richie, and his girlfriend's family. That was inspired by her brother's wedding in a villa in Italy, which then inspired a yoga retreat in that very same villa in Italy, hosted by me and the yoga studio owner that I worked for. The idea was simple: spend time together, enjoy a beautiful property similar to the Italian villa, and relax. And somewhere along the way, my son quietly informed us that if everything worked out, he planned to propose to his girlfriend while we were there. So exciting. So the secret began. Her family was coming, our family was coming, the grandparents, parents, siblings, cousins, aunt and uncle, a dog, and enough personalities to fill a small town. The plan was perfect, which of course is usually when life decides to test you. So, like I said, on the way to Kentucky, we received a message from Airbnb. The property reservation has been canceled. Not next week, not tomorrow, right then, as we were already on the road. A few moments, everyone scrambled, text messages flew, phone calls happened, plans shifted, and thankfully, Airbnb stepped up and sent us comparable, like 6 or 7 comparable properties for alternatives that were available for us to use. All while driving down the highway, we compared listings, checked amenities, and somehow managed to secure another beautiful property that could accommodate our group. So our group, we did have to shift a little bit. Originally, we had 16 people being able to stay in that historic mansion. Now we were down to 12/13. We kind of pushed it a little bit because the grandparents had another Airbnb for overflow. So it worked out. It all worked out. It was fine. So crisis averted. So we thought. Upon arrival, there were issues, user error, to get into the house. I figured it out. Once we got in, we were good. We saw that we had an ice machine. We were so excited. We didn't have to buy ice because we were going to buy just a bunch of bags. We had 2 coolers, huge coolers coming, Yeti, of course. So we were excited to, not have to worry about those. But anyway, 5 minutes into us being so excited about the ice machine, it decided to basically leak profusely onto the floor. It wasn't producing ice, it was producing water, and it flooded all the way through to the basement. So we called the guy. He came, cleaned it up. We cleaned it up. He cleaned it up. And then he's like, sorry, I got to turn it off. And so we were like, no big deal. We didn't even know we were going to have an ice maker. That wasn't the amenity that we even noticed. So no worries. We'll get our own ice. Don't worry about, he was going to buy us ice. We're like, we already factored it in. We're good. You are just, we were just so excited that they could take us last minute like that. We were like, we don't care. Don't even worry about us. We're going to be good tenants while we're here. So, he was responsive, and we loved our stay despite this issue. So what I didn't write about is the wonderful bourbon tour that we went on at Woodford Reserve. That's one of my favorites. Rich likes E.H. Taylor and Buffalo Trace. Bullet, he also likes, I don't know, there was another one we were going to try to go to, but it was further out. And so we went to Woodford because you can make a reservation fairly with short notice, like day before, which was great. Where Buffalo Trace, listen closely if you like Buffalo Trace, make your reservation ahead of time or you might not get in. But you can still go to the tastings at Buffalo Trace. They have a whole gift shop. They have tastings upstairs. They have tastings downstairs. If you're looking for just the experience, you'll still get to see the beautiful property. They're just not going to tour you if you don't have a tour reservation that you need to make months in advance. So last minute reservations, Bullet, Woodford, probably a few other ones, but if you're trying to go to Buffalo Trace, make those way ahead of time. Okay. Next, day of. So we got there Friday night, had pizza. Next night, we had tacos. We went on our tour. That was our adventure. We ended up going to a restaurant called The Stave. It's this tiny little place, it's like off the beaten path. Amazing food. It's, burgers. It's a porch. You're sitting on a porch, a screened in porch. I think there's chairs inside, but not many. Plenty of room. They have a whole outside cool thing with live music that they do. I'm going to try to remember to put that in the comments, or in the show notes here, because if you're going to Kentucky, you need to go to this place. It was amazing. If you like, they had other stuff. Somebody got sea bass, I think it was. They had a few different like fish options. They had salad options, burgers, chicken. I bet you the fried chicken was probably really good. I'm so limited, but what I had a smash burger, not on a bun, and it was amazing. It had like this bacon jam. It had a little bit of tang to it. It was really good. Anyway, I'm getting off topic again. I just wanted to say that. So Sunday rolls around. That's the day. We think Katie didn't know it was happening. We were going to have her take derby pictures anyway. So we used that as our, hey, go set up your camera we'll be right after you. Just get us in the right lighting and we'll be there, because we're going back to that property that we got canceled. We're using the property. We weren't even sure if we could. She said we could. The host said we could still use it, but she needed to write a contract. I wasn't sure if that was if we were going inside, which she didn't get back to me, so we didn't go inside. Anyway, beautiful, beautiful, just like we thought. Gorgeous property. So we're all taking showers. We had our last minute cancellation. We had our ice maker incident. Now we have poor Katie's mom, the mom of the now proposed to, the fiance. She was probably one of the last ones to take a shower. So she went downstairs to the open shower in the basement, because there were 4 showers. So she went down there. It was her turn. She's in there. She feels the water kind of rising on her feet, but it didn't feel like it was too bad. Well, the tray, it can only go so far. It doesn't have a bathtub. So you're not thinking it's going to leak over the side. Well, it did. And maybe also backed from the toilet. We don't know. All we know is there was water all over the place. It didn't look dirty. So I don't think it was a dirty toilet. If it was a clean toilet water, that's what it was. I don't know what happened. But we all hands on deck. We got that thing cleaned up. I found a mop. We got that cleaned up. Nobody dwelled. Carry on. So let's see where we are now. Meanwhile, the future daughter-in-law is, she's getting ready. I don't even know if she knew what happened. I think we handled it fairly well. Like I said, the proposal was supposed to happen on the original property. We went ahead and just went for it. I had the photographer going there. So it was happening there, whether we liked it or not, whether we were going to get arrested or not. Like, that's where we were going. I was hoping that if somebody called the cops, that they would see we were just taking pictures, give us a little slap on the hands and call it a day, but we didn't even have that. So we were like, we're doing this. And sometimes you don't get certainty. You just have to trust the moment and go with it, right? And that's what we did. And everyone just hung out on the property waiting. So we sent them ahead. He proposed. It was beautiful. It was perfect. Perfect. That moment was perfect. And that's all we cared about. That's all we needed. So there were tears, there were hugs, there were photos, the kind of happiness that makes every inconvenience instantly feel smaller. Back at the rental house, though, the plumbing reminded us that it wasn't quite finished with us yet. Everyone was playing board games while we waited for the host. Now, poor guy had to be the plumber to get there. Well, guess what? He's a farmer, so you can't just stop in the middle of the hayfield, drop everything, and come over. So he went home to shower. I'm sure he went home to eat something, because I don't know if you've ever done any yard work in the heat, let alone in an open hayfield doing like serious physical labor. You got to fuel yourself, especially if you're coming to deal with another physical problem. So anyway, so he does all that. Doesn't get there till 11 or so. Some of us had to get up early and leave early the next day. Other people were staying, so they slept in. So, but what fascinated me most was the string of mishaps. It was fun to watch how people responded to them, because whether they reacted wildly or calmly or didn't even know about it, once the crisis was dealt with, then it was forgotten, which was really cool. So some people immediately started solving problems. Some needed to talk through every possibility. Some worried, some laughed, some complained. I complained in the moment just for a moment, and then I stopped myself because I'm like, we're dealing with it. Some stayed remarkably calm, and no one was wrong. That's human emotion, right? Nobody was difficult. everyone was simply being human, processing, when enough people gathered together, you don't just bring luggage, you bring experiences, you bring fears, you bring coping mechanisms, you bring communication styles, you bring personalities or weather. Originally, it was supposed to rain on this proposal day. So we didn't have actual rain, but we had a little few sprinkles of other things that were like weather. That's why I called it Everyone Brings Their Own Weather, was the original blog post. So I've spent decades working closely with people as a hairstylist, fitness coach, yoga teacher. Somewhere along the way, I became very aware of people's emotions. At one point, I found myself retreating to the bedroom for a while. Overwhelming amounts of people, and they have a big family who are used to being around big family crowds. And while I enjoyed every minute of watching the interactions and interacting myself, I found myself retreating to the bedroom just for a moment of like calm. Not that the chaos was bad, it was amazing and I loved it, but I needed to like get myself grounded for just a moment. That's just how I am. Crowds can be overwhelming to me. Any crowd, not this particular crowd. I'm a, one or two people at a time kind of person. But it all worked out and I enjoyed watching this interaction of things. Yeah, not because I wasn't enjoying myself, because I just needed a different vantage point. I needed a quiet place to recalibrate. I can't even talk, to sort through what was mine emotionally and what wasn't. Once I did, I was able to sit back and watch, and what I saw was beautiful. Families getting to know each other, my sons laughing together, my mom chatting with everyone because she's not shy at all. Like she's totally into these big. I don't know what happened to me. People helping where they could, everyone adapting, everyone showing up in their own way, the best way. There were a few potentially awkward moments that naturally happen when large families come together and when you have awkward people like me. No, I wasn't the awkwardness, but I was just noticing. But what stood out to me was how gracefully everyone handled each situation, or not even situation, each interaction, I guess. And different personalities, different perspectives, different ways of navigating stress. The goal was never perfection. The goal was connection, and we got that. So it was great. As the weekend came to an end, I did something I become much more comfortable doing as I've gotten older. I performed an Irish goodbye. I slipped out a little earlier than I planned. I just left a text. So I was going to stay and wait to say physically goodbye to Richie. I had already said goodbye to my mom, my husband, and my oldest son, Justin. And then I had 2 hours before I knew everyone else was going to wake, if not longer, because of the later, while the guy was working on the plumbing, it was really loud and he was shop vacuuming all the water. People were up till 2 at least a.m. playing board games, still chatting, still laughing. It was great. They used up every time that they had together, which I thought was amazing. So I was up with my family saying goodbye to them. Richie was sleeping in because he stayed up with everyone to enjoy everyone with his new fiance. And so I knew he was going to sleep later. And that's how it was. I kind of watched the shifts come in. Every time I woke up, it was myself and my husband woke up. We made the first pot of coffee, which we pretty much finished. My mom woke up next. She had some coffee. So then we were able to top off ours and refill the coffee and have it ready and waiting for the next group, the next wave of people. And then there was a third wave. It was pretty cool. Every day. That's how it worked. We even did yoga. Once everyone was up, we did yoga on Saturday morning before our bourbon tasting. So anyway, back to my Irish goodbye. So I slipped out earlier than planned because there was 2 hours I was going to wait and I could be on the road, and I was already tired because I went to bed late. So it's just is what it is, right? I just left a text. I got the fresh pot of coffee. That's why I was telling you about the coffee. I left the fresh pot of coffee waiting, and that's my love languages. One of my love languages is preparing the coffee in the morning. So people, do you ever have that when you just wake up and the coffee is ready for you to pour, or somebody pours it for you? That's just magic right there. So yeah, that's my love language. Years ago, I might have worried about looking rude or antisocial. Now I realize it's just self-awareness. My social battery was full. My heart was full. Memories were made. I didn't need more conversation or one more hour to make the weekend meaningful. It already was. The truth is, life rarely unfolds the way we planned it. Reservations get canceled, things break, people react differently than we would. Unexpected problems show up in the worst possible times, and yet somehow the moments that matter still happen. And maybe that's the lesson, is perfect memories don't require perfect circumstances, which is really cool. Sometimes they happen in the middle of a flooded ice makers, plumbing disasters, and last-minute decisions and cancellations, and a house full of people all carrying their own weather, and when needed, carrying each other. There's only a little bit more. There's 2 more sentences. Well, no, 1 more sentence and word. Somehow, despite all of it, everything works out perfectly. Whether perfectly is your perfectness or your thought of perfectness, or just looking at it as if that just went very well. Maybe the path wasn't perfect. Maybe the path had a few rocks and pebbles on it, but the beginning, middle, and end were perfect. And that's all that matters. And that's it. I hope there was a lesson in there for you, an aha moment in there for you. This story reminds me of so many yoga themes that my yoga teacher, Mila, would tell us in class. And just that it's going to work out the way it works out. We've survived 100% of our worst days ever. We can survive these little issues. So yeah, there you go. That's my lesson. I'll try to remember to put in the whole bourbon. Sorry, there's some cyclists going by. We have a very windy little rolling hill road, and the cyclists they always use it, especially on Sunday. Anyway, ADD, sorry. I'm going to go, and I have one more little recording. I hope you check it out. I'll have this same shirt on, and it'll be a book review on the book Kin. That'll be next. So look out for that. Have a great one. Happy Sunday. It's not Sunday when you're seeing this, but maybe it is. The dog's going to go crazy. I'm going.